Hey there, welcome to Hoffman Happenings. My name's Nadia. So glad you could join me. As you can tell, this video is a little bit different. From the title, it's a get to know me video, and I have never done a video like this before. I actually was asked to do this quite a while ago, just never got around to it. But I thought it's my birthday weekend, and I have some extra time. I'm up here in my office, it's in the evening, and thought I would just sit down and do a quick get to know me video and answer 10 questions that you may have or want to know about me. So I've got the questions right here on paper, old school. I wrote them down. So yeah, here's 10 questions to get to know me a little better. Question number 1, how did you get your name? Wow, that's a great question. Well, my name is Nadia, and that's spelled N-A-D-I-A. My mom named me Nadia. Actually, I'm named after a song. It's called Nadia's Theme. And my mom had the album, and I actually have it right up here. The cover was right here. It's called Nadia's Theme. And my mom used to listen to it all the time when she was pregnant with me. She said she was very sick, had a very hard pregnancy, and that she just enjoyed listening to the song. It was just very soft, very relaxing to her. So when I was born, it was just obvious that she had to name me Nadia. I love the meaning of my name. It means hope, and that word hope has so much meaning to me. Number 2, where did you grow up and where do you live now? Well, I was born and raised in New Hampshire. Actually grew up in a small town. Actually, it's probably not that small anymore. Back then it was pretty small. I lived in southern New Hampshire, which is a lot different than what you may see as far as New Hampshire being, beautiful mountains. And I lived in the southern part of New Hampshire, closer to the border of Massachusetts. And I lived about 25, well, maybe 35 to 40 minutes from Boston, depending upon traffic. So I was in more of the southern area. Actually, the town I grew up in was called Derry. And believe it or not, there are a lot of interesting people that also grew up in Derry. Robert Frost, who was a famous poet, actually his farm that inspired a lot of his poetry. I lived right down the street from the Robert Frost farm. Also, the astronaut Alan Shepard was from Derry, and surprisingly enough, Pamela Smart is from Derry. If you don't know who Pamela Smart is, I'll let you Google her and you'll find out. Right now, I've been living in Texas. I've lived here for about 13 years. I can't believe it. But yeah, I currently live in Texas. Question number 3, do you have any siblings? I do. I have an older brother who's 4 years older than I am. It was just 4 of us in our family, my mom, dad, my brother, and I. My dad actually worked in Boston. As I said, we lived about, 30, 40 minutes from Boston, so a lot of people lived in New Hampshire, worked in Boston, so he commuted to work every day. He worked in TV and radio broadcasting. In his early years, he worked as a radio DJ in Boston in the 60s and early 70s, and later he moved his career and became a really successful camera operator, working at a sports station covering all of the sports in Boston, the Red Sox games, Boston Bruins, Boston Celtics. He did that for about 40 years, and he also did some freelance camera work as well. My dad recently passed away in November. My mom was a nurse for many years, and later when she got married early on, when my brother and I came along, she decided to be home with us. I grew up on a dirt road, and our home was a small ranch on about 10 acres of land. So yeah, it was great growing up, 10 acres of land, lots to do. I love playing outside, outdoors, a lot of woods. We loved going in the woods and playing. So I have a lot of great memories where I grew up in New Hampshire. What was your first job, and did you go to college? My first job, well, aside from babysitting, I babysat a lot I started babysitting when I was 12 or 13, which I think was pretty normal for girls my age back then. But my very first job was actually at a radio station. As I said earlier, my dad worked in radio and TV broadcasting, and I grew up listening to his old reels of when he used to DJ. But my dad actually worked at the radio station in Boston with John Garabedian, and they both were on a show called Open House Party. So, but anyway, I grew up listening to my dad's old reels and his tapes. Also, I went to work with him when he used to, broadcast the Celtics games, Bruins games, Red Sox games. So I would go to work with him, and I really loved watching him work, and I really wanted to work in radio. And I remember telling him at a very young age, I think I want to do radio. And so he said, well, there's a radio station down the street. I'm like, there is? It was a contemporary Christian radio station. So I never really heard of that music. But anyway, I was excited. It was a radio station, and I went there in the summer, like interned. And then later, by the end of the summer, they asked if I wanted to start working. So I worked at the radio station, and I did that all through high school. And I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. Did I go to college? Yes, I did. I went to Coastal Carolina University. I loved Go Chanticleers. I moved once I graduated high school from New Hampshire. I, at the time, wanted a change. I really did not want to be in the snow anymore. I really got tired of the cold, to be honest, and wanted to move. So I love the beach, and I moved to South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, and went to school at Coastal Carolina University and studied communications there. So yes, I did go to school, and I got a degree, a bachelor's degree in communications. Number 5, are you married? Yes, I am married. My husband and I have been married for 20 years. We got married at Disney World. I have a video I'll link below if you wanted to watch about our wedding. But yeah, we've been married, I'll be 21 years coming up this year. I also have 2 boys. My oldest is 14, and my youngest is 11. And I also have a son. My oldest son, my firstborn, passed away. He was stillborn for full term at 41 weeks in 2007. His name was Tristan. Question number 7 is, what do you do for work? Okay. As I said, I started out working in radio, actually, was my first job. And then I got into television. I worked in production, did camera, and also later became a reporter, doing entertainment kind of stories. And then later I started working in public relations, and I am now working at a nonprofit. We help combat wounded veterans at the nonprofit I work at, and I'm a marketing coordinator. I've been there for almost 2 years, and I love my job. Question number 8. How long have you been on YouTube, and why did you start YouTube? Very good question. Wow, I think it's been a while. I started back in 2011, and it was back when my boys were really young. And we actually just started, I think we just moved here to Texas, and I was a stay-at-home mom at the time for a little while. And yeah, I used to watch YouTube. I used to do like a lot of activities with my boys. They're really young, like preschool age. So I was always looking up, different things activities I could do with my kids online on YouTube. And I just really enjoyed what I was seeing, and I had a friend who was a teacher and told me I should share some of my ideas. She really liked some of my homeschooling kind of preschool ideas and crafts, and so I started to share just what we were doing. I did a whole Easter theme with Easter eggs, kind of shared what, fun activities you can do with preschoolers using Easter eggs and Easter as a theme. And for some reason that video went viral in like 3 days. There were over 1 million views. There were a lot of shares from other teachers. I don't know, it just kind of had a life of its own. And it was kind of a big deal. Yeah, so I had a video that kind of went viral, and then I got a lot of followers that way. And then I just kind of lost interest, and just life happened. I didn't have time to post, and I hadn't posted in a while. And then right after 2020 and everything, I decided to start posting and getting back into YouTube. So I've been doing it for a while, off and on, since 2011. All right, next, number 9. What do you like to do in your spare time? Any hobbies or special interests? Very good question. I love, let's see, I love to be outside. I love going for walks, going to parks, things like that. I love the beach. I love music. I love going to concerts. I love traveling. I hope to travel more this year. Right now, I guess for like a hobby, my husband and I have a online radio station that we're having a lot of fun with. It's called 80 Central. I'll link it down below if you'd like to listen. It's a online radio station. We play 80s music.
80 Central is more. Great information on everything 80s, past and present. 24-hour webcast of music and original programming, plus a complete interactive website. 80 Central, your #1 source of music, movies, and more. 80 Central, your 80s destination.
Everything from the 80s. It could be a hit song. It could be a forgotten track, album cuts. We play everything 80s. Anything from 1980 to 1989. So my husband and I, we used to be DJs. Like I said, I used to be a DJ. My husband actually used to be a DJ. And we also have some other friends that are DJing on the radio station with us that used to be DJs as well. So it's just been fun. Just something fun that we enjoy doing. So yeah, we've been working on the 80s radio station, having fun with that. Number 10, what is your favorite food, favorite music, and TV show? Oh wow, that's like 3 questions in one. Well, I love my all-time favorite is lobster. It's my favorite food. I grew up in New England. I love seafood. I'm very picky about my seafood, but lobster is my ultimate favorite. I also love Mexican food. Living in Texas, we have some of the best Mexican food here. So I do love Mexican food, but my all-time favorite is lobster. Some music, of course, I love 80s. We have an 80s radio station, so I do listen to a lot of older songs. I listen to 80s music, 90s music. It's just my go-to songs that I love. I do love the oldies too. My first ever concert I went to was Roy Orbison. My dad took me to see Roy Orbison. It was amazing. I love concerts, so I love all different kinds of music. My favorite TV show, wow, I don't watch a lot of like current shows that are out now, like series or anything. The last show that I watched was This Is Us, and of course it got canceled, almost every show, and that's probably why I don't watch a lot of like recent shows, because they always get canceled on me. So the last shows that I watched was This Is Us, which I absolutely loved. That was the last show I watched, and Parenthood. So those are the kind of shows I like. So I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch reruns. I love the Golden Girls, all those 80s sitcoms like Cheers, and I love Blossom, all those kind of 80s and 90s sitcom shows. I love those. So I'll watch those. I also love watching like HGTV, a lot of those like Farmhouse Fixer, I think with John Knight. I love the New Kids on the Block, by the way. I'm from New England. I love New Kids. So I love John's new show too, Fixer Upper, and I love Joanna Gaines and Chip, and like I love all those home renovation shows. So yeah, that's kind of the TV shows I watch. I watch a lot of YouTube right now. 2 of the YouTubers that I really like are Summers in Alaska. They're a family that's from North Pole, Alaska. I really love just the way that they shoot their videos and everything. It's really interesting to learn about them and, you know, living in Alaska. It's just so interesting. And I also follow on YouTube, it's Nikki Positano Diaries, I think it's called. She lives in Positano on the Amalfi Coast, and she does beautiful filming. I just love her channel, and I really want to go to Positano. That's one place I really want to go to. Positano and Hawaii are on top of my list. But yeah, so I don't watch a lot of current shows, mostly YouTube and reruns of old shows. All right, well, that's 10 questions about me, and hope that you learned something interesting. If I didn't answer something, if you have questions or anything you want to ask me, feel free to put them in the comments. I'd be happy to do another video and answer more questions, or if there's something that you'd like me to talk about that I mentioned, put that down too in the comments. Let me know. I'd be happy to maybe do another video like this, kind of like a sit down talk kind of chat video. So, but anyway, thank you so much for watching. It's my birthday weekend. I'm gonna go have lobster right now. I was just told it's time for dinner, and it's time for my once a year little splurge for lobster, so I can't wait. So you all have a great day, and thanks for watching. Be kind, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.